Democrats say they just got their dream scenario in the Texas Senate race. Ken Paxton and his long string of controversies. He is now the Republican running against James Tallarico, who polls show has a legitimate chance to end a 38-year Senate dry spell for Democrats. Here's how he told my colleague, Lawrence O'Donnell, he plans to pull it off.
So a lot of the president's supporters in Texas are feeling disillusioned. They're feeling disillusioned with this extremism and this corruption that is embodied by politicians like Ken Paxton. And so we have a real opportunity to build a big coalition of Democrats, independents, and Republicans who are fed up.
Joining me now is Texas Democratic Party Chair Kendall Scudder. It's good to see you, Kendall. And now that you've got the Republican opponent I know you were hoping for, what's the strategy?
Well, the strategy is to make sure that Texans of all stripes learn who Ken Paxton is if they haven't yet. This is the most corrupt politician in America. This is someone who not only will he not be loyal to you, he wasn't loyal to his own wife. And all throughout this summer, we're going to be seeing their divorce proceedings unfolding. The Republicans are in for a nightmare. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be any kind of cakewalk for Democrats in Texas. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves and do a whole lot of work. But I think the stars are starting to align here, that if we continue to organize in 254 counties around this state in a real strategic fashion and work as a unit, as a team, I think that we can turn out here and do some pretty incredible things up and down our ticket.
Here's the thing, though, and you know this, John Cornyn spent a lot of money on brutal ads against Paxton, trying to tell Texas voters who he is. I just want to play a little bit of what voters heard this primary season.
Crooked Ken Paxton cheated on his wife. She's divorcing him on biblical grounds. So now Paxton's wrecking another home, sleeping around with a married mother of 7.
Why does Ken Paxton go easy on child predators? A Waco attorney, Adam Hoffman, sexually abused a child for 3 years, and Paxton gutted the case, offering him just a slap on the wrist.
Crooked Ken is now worth up to $12 million. He owns 11 homes, claiming 3 of them as his primary residence. Well, we know Ken Paxton cheats. Just ask the mother of his children.
For all that, in the end, Paxton won by 28 points. So what are the voters going to learn that they don't know already?
Well, remind you that they have spent $130 million tearing each other apart and making sure that the people of Texas know why they will not serve them well if elected. I think that's a bit of a gift to the Democratic Party. Also, they've made some beautiful ads there. It doesn't seem like we're going to have to redraw or rebuild them on our own. We can just continue running those, I suppose. You know, Ken Paxton is a garbage person. It's just the truth. Members of his own party impeached him. He is an undeniably corrupt human being who has not gotten out of bed a single day thinking about anyone but himself. And the people of Texas are going to know that if they don't already. And so in November, people have an option. Do you elect a literal choir boy, a guy who was a public school teacher, has been in the seminary, and is working hard to make life more affordable for you, or just a creature of the swamp who has figured out how to make that swamp work for himself and no one but himself and Donald Trump? I think it's a very obvious choice for Texans to make. We just have to make sure we're doing our role of not just pointing to how bad he is, but showing the great things that we can do to improve their lives if given an opportunity. And I think you're going to see lots of big, bold plans from James Tallarico on how to make people's lives better, because it's not enough just to point to the other side and say that they're bad. We have to bring something to the table as well.
Well, Ken Paxton was ready. He just released a brand new ad against Tallarico. Let me play a little of that.
This is Texas. This is not.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
This is Texas. This is not.
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us.
This is Texas. This is not.
They're going to call me a radical leftist.
So what are you looking for in terms of attacks? What are you looking for in terms of money? And how do you respond to both of those things?
I mean, this is the same old boring, tired playbook that the Republicans run every election. And it's why their trajectory is to lose in Texas, because they aren't coming to the table with solutions for anyone. But the truth is, Texas is the most expensive state to operate in if you're running a campaign in the country. We've got almost 20 media markets around this state, huge population, over 30 million folks. And so we've got to raise a lot of money here. Ken Paxton is going to drop tons of cash. I'm sure dark, seedy money that come from a bunch of old folks that he's done favors for. But it's on all of us to make sure we're organizing and not trying to just lock a bunch of consultants in a room in Austin and buy our way out of this problem, but to organize from the ground up in 254 counties across this state. We are all joined in on that in a joint coordinated effort, working with the top of the ticket all the way to the bottom. The Democrats in Texas have never done that before. So it's a real new thing for us, operating like swing states do. I think we're going to see the benefits of all of us not duplicating efforts, being real smart about how we're spending money, and also being real disciplined on what we're talking about. What we are talking about is making life better for the people who work, for the people who build this country, who feel like no one is sitting at the table advocating for them. When you elect someone like James Tallarico or Gina Hinojosa to the governor's mansion, you're finally going to have people sitting at the table thinking about you when they're making choices, not just themselves, not just their donors, not just their pocketbooks, but how do we build a Texas that overhauls a system that's broken, so that it will work for working class people?
We just got a new memo, by the way. I'm sure you've seen it, from Tallarico's campaign manager, touting some pretty impressive numbers, boosting recruitment since September, more than 45,000 volunteers, more than $40 million raised, 1 billion social media views across all platforms. I mean, impressive numbers, but as you say, in a state with 30 million people, 254 counties. I've gone door to door with groups, with grassroots organizers, and you always feel like, okay, well, they hit 100 doors today out of 30 million people. So tell me about the use of outside groups, and by that I don't mean the money groups. I mean the on-the-ground grassroots organizers, and how much of that do you think will be coming in, not just from within your state, but from without?
I think we're building that infrastructure within our state now. If folks from outside want to help, we'd love for that help. But I think people within Texas are ready to take this mantle on. We're doing things differently than the way we've done them in the past. I became chairman last year. We've been rebuilding the party from the ground up, focused on this organizing piece. Just a year ago, only a third of our precinct chairs in the entire state of Texas had a precinct chair. We've just been getting out organized. And so rethinking the way we're operating so that we're not just focused on the election in front of us, but elections down the road, I think that's a really important
component. Do you have time for this race in the fall to get all that done?
Time is the only thing you can't get more of, and that's why we're working hard every single day to get it done. But we have been working since before this primary. Our coordinated campaign started working to recruit and make direct contacts with voters starting last summer. And so we've gotten a run at this, and we're going to continue to do it. I'm a farm kid from East Texas. I know it may not be sexy, but I'm just rolling up my sleeves and getting to work. That's what we're doing. We're keeping our head down. We're staying focused. We're not here to win arguments. We're here to win elections. And I think when we come in with that mentality, it's going to bring a lot to the table in our ability to deliver those wins for folks.
Kendall Scudder, who will sleep again sometime in November, but not before. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Grateful to be on.